Hello, this is the second episode in my series on fixed price revenue recognition in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. My name is Henrik Marx Larsen, and I'm a principal consultant with Scales, a Danish Microsoft systems integrator. I have worked with Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations and its predecessors for more than 25 years across many industries and geographies. As I said earlier, we have come to the second episode in the series. In this episode, I will talk about setting up the billing schedule and I will bill the customer. I will also talk about forecasting models and create the baseline forecast. Lastly, I will record some costs that will allow us to calculate progress in the next episode. So now we are going to set up the billing schedule. So I go to the project management and accounting module, to projects and project contracts. In here, if you remember from the first episode where I created the header of the contract, you can see it's in here. So I click on the project contract. And down here, we don't have any billing rules at this point in time. So what I will do is I will create a new billing rule. And in the type of billing rule up here, I will select milestone because I'm doing my billing based on milestones. So I'm just going to call it, give it a description here, call it big machine like I did with the project. And now I'm going to go down here to the milestones, click new and say, okay, on 1st of October, we're going to build milestone one. And here I need to select the project now. So when I do the drop down, you can see all the projects that are associated with this contract. Now, the first milestone is for the first phase. So I'm going to select that sub project here, and I'm going to say $20,000. I'm going to go and create a second milestone. I'm going to call that 1st of November, payment milestone 2. And in the project ID, I will select the phase 2 sub-project. Now I am going to say 40,000. There we go. So now, as you can see down here, but also if I go back up here, you can see the total contract value is $60,000. So what I've done now is I have created the milestones that we need to be able to bill the customer. So now we are ready to mark the first milestone in the contract as complete. So we go back to the project contracts here, contracts, the big machine contract, and up here in the ribbon we have the maintain tab. We go to manage contract status, and you can see the contract value that we had earlier on. And up here in the ribbon we say update milestone status, and you can see the two milestones that we have. None of them at this point in time are marked as complete, so I will mark the first one as complete to invoice the first milestone. So I click OK here, and I come back out again to my contract. We're now ready to invoice the customer. So I go to my project contract, and I go to the maintain tab, and I pick the invoice proposal menu point in the ribbon to generate a new invoice proposal. Now, obviously we could do this automatically, but I'm going to do it manually today. I'm going to pick the invoice date as the end of October, and I'm also going to set up the search criteria to the end of October to get the first milestone included. So I click on search to see what comes up, and you can see the milestone that we marked as complete, that's $20,000 down here, has been included. So I'm just going to say select all to get it included on the invoice, and I will go down to the bottom and click OK. So now that generates the invoice proposal. So and obviously you can review, it's down here. You can review the invoice proposal before posting, but in this case we are OK. So I'll go to the ribbon and click post. They can come up. There we are. That's okay. So I click OK again. Yeah, we are happy to print the screen. Yeah, there we go. And you can see we have the milestone bill here on the invoice line for the $20,000. So we've now, if I just come back out again, we've now invoiced the first milestone on the contract. And if we come back out again one more time and go to the invoice journal here, you see that it's generated an invoice journal. And if I go to the voucher in the ribbon, you can now see that it has credited $20,000 to the WIP, basically the accrued revenue here, and obviously it's debited $20,000 to accounts receivable. Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations does not come with a prescriptive approach to forecasting models. In my experience, the approach I'm presenting here works for most companies. First, we enter the budget in the original forecast. To ensure we can always compare any forecast to the original forecast, we copy the original forecast to the current forecast. When we come to the first forecast to complete session, we copy the current forecast to the revision 1 forecast. And changes made during forecast to complete are always made in the current forecast. At the next forecast to complete, we copy the current forecast again, but to the revision 2 forecast, and so on and so forth. This way we are able to track all the revisions we have made to the forecast. Next, we will set up the baseline forecast. So I go to my project. I'm just going to go to my projects. I'm on the header project here. I'm just going to expand the whole structure here. But right now I have selected the header project and I go to all forecasts. So I've already entered the forecast. And you can see down here, I'm just going to group it by project ID here. So you can see down here that on the first sub-project over here, if we just take it over here, you can see on the first sub-project, I have 200 hours budgeted on the original, and I have one expense line here for $6,000. So on the first project, I have a total of 10,000 budgeted or forecasted expenses. And on the second sub-project, I have 12,000 expenses, and I have 400 hours of work. So that gives us a total forecast in the original forecast of $20,000. So next up, I need to copy the forecast to the current forecast. So now I want to copy my original forecast into the current forecast as we discussed previously. So I go to my projects here, just on the header project. So I click copy forecast in the ribbon. And you can see here I've included time, expense, and materials. I don't actually have any materials. I could also select specifically on a date range. I'm not going to do that. So all I have to do is I want to copy from the original forecast into the current forecast, and then I click OK down here. And if I go to the all forecast up here, you can now see that we have, and I'm just going to filter here on the current forecast. You can now see that the original forecast that we entered earlier on is now copied to the current forecast, so that we are ready to work with the current forecast in revenue recognition. In the last step in this episode, we are going to look at realized costs. So I've already posted some costs to the project. So I will go to the header project here. The header project here. I select that, and then I go to the Manage tab and to Posted Transactions. And you can see I have said here that I want to include sub-projects It's just because I'm on the header projects, just want to see the posted transactions for all the sub projects. And you can see down here on the first line, we have the revenue that we already invoiced to the customer. We have the 160 hours that we have posted, and we have the single expense line that we have posted. And these costs have been taken into WIP at this point in time, so they will be realized to the P&L in line with the revenue recognition that we will look at in the next episode. Talking of the next episode, in the next episode, we will perform the first forecast to complete, generate an estimate, and post cost and revenue recognition. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.